Hello there, geographers, and welcome back to the Mr. Sinn channel. Today we are going to be talking about Unit 3, Topic 7. We're going to be looking at the diffusion of religion and language. Now, this video is just going to scratch the surface on different religions around the world and also languages. But we're going to focus on how these religions and languages have diffused, how they've reshaped society, how they've impacted that cultural landscape. When looking around the world, we can see that people have different religions, they have unique cultures, and they speak different languages. As we study history and as we look at the global community, we can actually trace language back to its cultural hearths. We can look at the language families, the origin point of many of the languages spoken in the world today. Or we could expand our scope and our conversation and actually look at language groups. Here we can see languages are grouped together based on common characteristics. Oftentimes this is visualized as a tree. For example, we could see that the different languages would be the leaves of a tree. The language group would be the branches of the tree itself. And the language family would be the trunk of the tree. As we go through languages, we can see that languages have a lot of characteristics that are similar to other languages. And that's because they're part of the same tree. Each tree that's representing the language family will have these characteristics because over time these languages have built off of each other as they continue to diffuse around the world and they adapt different cultural traits. So I just mentioned how the diffusion of language has led to languages actually taking on other cultural traits. Languages evolve over time, and that's one of the fascinating things about them. Words take on new meanings. New words are added to the vocabulary. For example, English is one of the most commonly spoken languages in the world today. But depending on where you are, you're going to hear different forms of English. This is often in the forms of different dialects. Dialects are regional differences in the spelling, the pronunciation, accents, and even just the meanings of certain words. These regional differences are based on the local culture, and they reshape the language that's being spoken. For example, I'm from Minnesota and we're in the Midwest, and we don't drink soda here, we drink pop. And if I want to go get water from a public place, I'm going to drink water out of a drinking fountain, not a bubbler. Now, sometimes these regional differences in the dialects or even just the language in general could be so distinct that boundaries are formed. This is known as an isogloss. Isogloss are boundaries that are formed around differences in language, whether that be dialects or whether it be two different languages themselves. The boundary is based off linguistic characteristics. Speaking of the differences between different regions and locations with language, we could also look at how religion differs from location to location. Hey, do you think that worked as a segue? No? Well, that's unfortunate. When talking about religion, we can see that religions can be broken into two main categories. We can see universalizing religions, and we can also see ethnic religions. Universalizing religions are ones that seek to convert people. They seek to get more adherents. Adherents are people who are believers in the faith. They're followers. They're trying to expand. Oftentimes, these religions are going to diffuse through expansion diffusion, or also sometimes relocation diffusion. Examples of universalizing religions would be Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Sikhism. The first universalizing religion we're going to talk about is Christianity, and its hearth is located in the Eastern Mediterranean. Christianity is a monotheistic religion, which means they believe in one God. This is one of the Abrahamic religions, and it stems back to the teachings of Jesus Christ. Christians believe that Jesus was God's son who was sent to earth to save humanity and die for our sins. Their important religious text is the Bible and the Ten Commandments. Christianity has diffused around the world through a variety of ways. We could see hierarchical diffusion and relocation diffusion due to missionaries and boarding schools that work to convert people to the faith. Colonialism and imperialism also helped spread the faith to new lands, and again used relocation diffusion through the migration of people. The next universalizing religion is Islam, and this is another one of the Abrahamic religions that has its hearth located in the Eastern Mediterranean. Islam is a monotheistic religion, and it stems back to the founder, Muhammad. After Muhammad passed, the faith did split between the Shia and the Sunni. The split was over who should lead the faith. Both sects have the Quran as their holy book, and they also follow the 5 pillars of Islam to help guide their daily lives. The Shia believed that after Muhammad's passing, the leadership of the faith should go to his bloodline, while the Sunnis, on the other hand, wanted Muhammad's successor to be chosen from a community of his followers. Similar to Christianity, Islam has diffused in a variety of ways. We could see examples of hierarchical diffusion as Arab traders and missionaries moved through the Middle East and Africa, bringing new goods and wealth to the different bazaars, the market. And as people came and saw all the riches, they would explain to the people that it was Islam that allowed them to be so prosperous. We can also see diffusion occur through the migration of people, which would be an example example of relocation diffusion. And we also had diffusion due to trade and war as the Islamic Empire grew and expanded over the course of history. Moving into South Asia, we could actually look at our next universalizing religion, which would be Buddhism. And unlike our other two religions we've already talked about, Buddhism does not have a set deity. Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha, also known as the Buddha. Buddhism believes that anyone can reach nirvana. By following the Four Noble Truths and the middle path, people can break free of their material needs. Buddhism gained in popularity primarily because of that belief that anyone could reach nirvana and salvation. Prior to Buddhism, the predominant religion of the region was Hinduism, which had connections with the caste system and did not preach salvation for everyone. This allowed for contagious diffusion to happen as it spread throughout the communities. We also could see relocation diffusion occur due to the migration of adherents and missionaries to different countries within the region. The last universalizing religion we're going to look at is Sikhism. Now, Sikhs are often confused as Muslims, but they are completely different faiths. The Sikhs originated from the Punjab region. The Sikhs believe in 10 gurus who have connections to God that help guide the Sikhs in their daily lives. These gurus preach the word of God and helps create their holy book over time. Sikhism is a peaceful religion that believes in the human dignity of all people. Sikhs are expected to always have 5 articles of faith on them. This is to symbolize the commitment to their faith. Sikhism has diffused through relocation diffusion. However, the diffusion is very limited due to being located between Hinduism, Islam, and also Buddhism. So we've been spending some time now talking about universalizing religions, but now we're going to be going into ethnic religions. And unlike universalizing religions, ethnic religions aren't seeking to convert people. Oftentimes, ethnic religions are connected to a specific ethnic group, and they're also located close to their hearth. We don't see diffusion happening as often, and most of the time it's through relocation. However, just like our universalizing religion, it can also have expansion diffusion as well. Examples of ethnic religions would be Hinduism and Judaism. The first ethnic religion we're going to talk about is Hinduism. Hinduism originated in South Asia and is today predominantly located in India. Hinduism is one of the world's oldest religions, and depending on who you're talking to, it could be monotheistic or polytheistic. Polytheistic means it believes in multiple gods. Hinduism believes in karma and dharma, and it uses the Vedas as its sacred text. One kind of crazy thing with Hinduism is the religion is so old that we actually don't know who the founder of the faith is. Over time, as Hinduism diffused throughout the region, we can see it diffuse through stimulus diffusion. It would spread through different faiths, taking on some aspects of traditional faiths and eventually replacing them. We can also see diffusion occur through the migration of people, and this would be a form of relocation diffusion. The last ethnic religion is Judaism, which is actually another one of the Abrahamic religions that also has its hearth located in the Eastern Mediterranean. This religion has 3 main branches: Reform, Orthodox, and Conservative. The Torah is the religious text of this faith. And throughout history, we've seen that Judaism has diffused mainly through relocation diffusion, and unfortunately has mainly been due to war and persecution. Today, the Jewish population considers Israel to be their homeland and a Jewish state. When analyzing the cultural landscape of a society, look to see how religion and language have influenced that cultural landscape. What clothes are people wearing? Do those clothes have a religious significance that ties back to the people's faith? How do the houses of worship transform the architecture of a particular geographic location? How do people worship, and how do they celebrate milestones in life? Oftentimes, weddings and funerals have unique religious connections that shape the people and the society around them. And for linguistic traits, look to see what the signs look like. How are people communicating? Is there multiple languages or one language that's used throughout society? All of these things and more will show us aspects of the cultural landscape that are unique to specific geographic places on Earth. Today we went into a bunch of different information. We talked about universalizing religions, we looked at ethnic religions, we talked about the cultural landscape, we looked at language families, language groups, dialects, and isoglosses. All of these concepts are important for you to understand, and we really just scratched the surface on all these different topics. For AP Human Geography, the big focus you can see is on the diffusion and how these traits have shaped the cultural landscape. Now the time's come for you to practice. Well, let's make sure you remember everything we just went over. Answer the questions on the screen right now and check your answers in the comment sections of this video. That way you can see if you're understanding these concepts. Also, if you are struggling in your class or if you need more help with the different languages and religions, make sure to check out my AP Human Geography Ultimate Review Packet. I actually have practice quizzes in there, both on this entire standard, but also specifically on languages and language families and their locations around the world. All of that will be important information for you to know for your class. And you can find the link to that packet in the description of this video. All right, thank you so much for watching, geographers. I'm Mr. Sinn. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing and sharing the video. That helps support the channel and allows me to make more videos. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, geographers, I'm Mr. Sinn, and I'll see you online.